I have one small John Cassaday story, and it's nothing irregular. It might have been around 2001, 2002, maybe even 2003. Wizard World at the time had recently returned to Philadelphia, PA. I was working at a comic shop, had to go to the convention. I think I ditched work too. I think I said I was going to go to another store, and I ended up going to the convention. I had the uncomfortable moment of running into the store's owner at the show. But we were just like hanging out, talking. I had to fess up at the time, just saying, "Look, I'm sorry, I effed up. I'm here. I lied to you." We were talking about it, and a couple feet away was this gentleman, just with long hair, rifling like two or three drawings, like in a sketchbook, and it just seemed like he was tracing. He was tracing. Like, but he was doing like fully formed illustrations, light, shadow, hair, like all of it. It was so effing fast, and I found out later it was John Cassaday. That's one of the reasons why his death was so impactful to me, because he, for me, had this like X factor. It was like this: how do you do it? How do you do it? X factor. And at the time, like a lifelong illustrator, I drew, and I still draw every single day of my life. And you kind of see what, like a little bit, like anyone that goes into my illustration background, it's just hard work. And there's a separation between hard work and those that are gifted. John Cassaday is a gifted dude, was a gifted individual. He recently passed. If you guys don't follow the channel, if you're not familiar with some of my other videos, when the news of his passing broke, I promised to do a complete like top down retrospective of everything that I feel was like meaningful to me regarding John Cassaday. So today, here we go. Welcome to the channel, my AKAPADers. I am Peter A. DeLuca, aka Pad69, and known throughout Philadelphia, PA, which is right outside that window, Europe, and the vast multiverse as your eclectic one, and in some tight circles known as the pop culture Pope. Guys, I also have a podcast. It's available right here on this channel. It's called AKA Pad, the Film Buff, and I'm serious about discussing movies. I do almost one drop a day. Sometimes I do two drops, but it's like 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Go check some of those out and let me know. I love hearing your comments on movies, because it is vast. I know I hardline a lot of my stuff, but the way my AKA Padders comes in, I'm always grateful. I'm always grateful for your time and your energy, my AKA Padders. What we're hearing a lot about right now is that the X-Men are back. X-Men have recently relaunched in Marvel Comics. I believe Gail Simone is working on the Extraordinary X-Men. I forget the but it's a X-Men. Ryan Stegman's doing some artwork. Like, visually, a lot of this stuff looks fantastic, but the books haven't caught steam. But a lot of people will say X-Men's back because we had a successful X-Men 97, Wolverine, Deadpool. Somehow people label the Wolverine, Deadpool stuff as X-Men, and it's really not. It's Deadpool, guys. we have to be clear on that. But either way, it gets packaged and framed in a particular manner. So when John Cassaday passed, something lightning, like from the heavens, struck my brain, and I had a revelation. He illustrated the last great X-Men moment. It's perfect paneling, perfect storytelling. It's an issue 4 of Astonishing X-Men, but it being an issue 4, the storytelling and paneling, like there's a definite flow to it. Very similar to the storytelling and the paneling for Michael Turner's Witchblade. Yes, I'm comparing something to Michael Turner's Witchblade. In this moment, from an issue 4, like I said, and I keep, I'm being clear on it being an issue 4 because it's not an issue 1. This is something that dropped in the middle of a storyline that was picking up steam. Everyone was really into what Joss Whedon was doing. I want to say John Cassaday wasn't a focal point artist-wise. He was popular, but people loved the covers, and like it's almost like they moved on from that, right? But this moment, and it's also the idea of bringing characters back to life. Previously in Uncanny X-Men lore, Colossus sacrificed himself to cure the legacy virus. He injected himself and they got the cure, and that storyline was over, and the legacy virus storyline was years and years and years. What the early 2000s did, just real quick here, X-Men wise, Cable was done, Deadpool wasn't Deadpool yet, the X-Men traitor was revealed, the assassination of Creed was revealed, the legacy virus was handled, and they pretty much at this point too put to bed Colossus. Colossus was kind of like put to bed. So all of these, Bishop, inconsequential. I believe storyline wise, Bishop still might have been in outer space with Lilandra of the Shi'ar Empire, or he was almost like his own background character in Extreme X-Men. Fact check me on that. But yeah, but this was a moment. This was the return of Colossus, and it blew people away. And it instantly, that one moment that John Cassaday illustrated, brought people back reading X-Men. People bought downline. Astonishing X-Men ended up on everyone's pull list, and it was fun because it felt like that the X-Men were back. Now we have to address the character coming back to life. Marvel at one time, every single new editor-in-chief that came on, or any editor that got traction and became popular, even writers, but there was somewhat of this idea put forward to the fans, the readers, the hardcore mother effers. Dead means dead. Companies would launch, dead means dead. We do a lot of 90s comic books on this channel. We do Top Cow Tuesday and Wildstorm Wednesday. And they're pretty good with like killing it, like they off characters relatively quick. Dead means dead. This was something, it was a lure. It was a promise to win back fans, because a lot of individuals, and I'm talking a chunk of the comic book world at the time, if a character was brought back from the dead, it was bad news, and everyone kind of moved on, and it could be the life or death of a franchise, a character, a book, or even creators. The return of Colossus created an unhealthy trend. Because of the popularity of Colossus returning, and keep in mind, Colossus was really never a sacred cow. By the time Colossus died in Uncanny X-Men, he was a secondary, maybe even like a third tier character. He wasn't even a member of the X-Men. He was more associated with Magneto at the time and the Acolytes. Guys, Uncanny X-Men lore is still the greatest comic book run of all time. If we take everything, Giant Size X-Men #1, and we take that all the way into the 2000s, it's the greatest title arc in comic book history. It's not even close, and I mean I'm including things like Robert Crumb, like even those books, even Akira, it's better than. Because of the popularity of Return of Colossus, Bucky came back. Jason Todd came back. And because of the popularity of those characters, and keep in mind, there was an initial curiosity when these characters were brought back. But at the end of the day, they only should have been brought back for a blip. And it means they could have been brought back for real. Now, Marvel, I still give them credit. Because for a larger, like, if we really look at the continuity, Jean Grey, still dead. That's big. Uncle Ben, still dead. Well, I mean, it's going to happen. Someone's going to bring back Uncle Ben. Now, but this moment, though, this moment, highly significant. This moment moved the needle. This moment created a conversation, and Cassaday was there to illustrate it. How did he do it? Because it's perfect paneling. So let's hit that drawing table. I want to show you some of Astonishing X-Men. I want to show you one of my favorite covers from Astonishing X-Men. And I still want to remember this guy. Because the social media blog sphere and even the YouTube cycle has already written this guy off. Okay? Even even the return of Elektra didn't land. Sorry guys, I just remembered that one. I'm forgetting someone. Guys, there's someone else other than Jean Grey that died, where like dead is dead. And I'm not thinking of Gwen Stacy, even though I guess like we do have Spider Gwen, but she's an alternate. Thunderbird still dead. Oh, Captain Marvel, the real Captain Marvel, the guy with the blonde hair. Dead means dead. It's significant. When you read the death of Captain Marvel, we talked about that on this channel. It's so impactful knowing that character never came back. The intent of any comic book publisher, when you're all in, is to create hardcore readers. Keeping characters dead for Marvel and DC brings people back into comic shops. It creates this cycle. Now, I know a lot of you guys want to die on the hill of saying Red Hood's fantastic or Bucky's fantastic. Honestly, come on. I can live a life never knowing or even seeing anything about Winter Soldier. There were so many different things you can do with Captain America. You don't have to bring back Bucky. Anyway, guys, John Cassaday creating magic. Astonishing X-Men. This is all I have. And I went to my local LCS and I bought them out. I spent about, these were almost like $5 each. I don't know. I don't care sometimes. Sometimes I just get so inspired. I want to spend the money. Astonishing X-Men number 4. You might think Colossus would be on this cover. But look at the John Cassaday covers. Look at the covers. Alright. This one, not so great. But completely right impactful covers. This one is just one of my all-time favorites. The reason for that is when I first saw it, this was really when Emma Frost was like really becoming a part of the X-Men, right? She came up through Generation X, but this was like she is an X-Men. And we get a lot of these long panels, right? We saw this in Planetary. So let's just get into issue 4. And I'm going to be very random after this. So yeah, a little bit of a background, a little bit more of our villain, of our bad guy. We will do a complete Astonishing X-Men retrospective, issues 1 through 24 on this channel. But yeah, right, we're going crazy. We got a lot of these great panels. Everything goes red. AKA patterns. We talk about this when it comes to storytelling. Notice how we go from blue to green to red. And once we hit red, the door opens. Kitty Pryde opens the door. And there he is, Colossus. And this is, I love this page so much. She's so much in shock. No words. And he just runs right through her. And Colossus just goes buck wild. Just destroying Mother efforts. I love the long panels. She's got to calm him down. Get him back to transform. We end our issue. Getting characters to return, it's always an argument. I think we're past the idea of not doing it, but this really was the tipping point to where you could bring back anyone. But let's have a look. Let's have a look at issue 2. We already saw some of it. Like, really cool stuff. I mean, his panels. I love the long panels. These like low shots. I don't know like how he did so many low shots so well. Nice animatics, and you guys know I don't like animatics. Look, all the X-Men just bursting through the walls, just getting to these guys. Yeah, a little bit more of Cyclops, right? Like, Cyclops' power slowly went from push to blast. But this guy goes toe-to-toe with him. Look, he picks up Emma Frost, throws her right through the floor. Look at where we are, too, with the background, how economical the backgrounds are. We just have these windows. But it's a lot of this is background less. There's no background. And reading it and following the action, you pretty much, yeah, great Lockheed moment here. You know, like, you're kind of okay with there being no backgrounds. It doesn't stand out. But this, just what he does here, he just pulls you into the book. You can make arguments that not all the faces match up or aren't modeled, this and that, but it doesn't matter. That's where like your colorist needs to come in and help you. I love this panel here. This book really, issue 10 here, this book just really floored a lot of people. This is the second arc with the Danger Room, essentially. Danger Room becomes a sentient adversary. Really cool stuff. Look at the Beast. Look at his face. Like, how this, if this doesn't make you love comics, very little will. And I think sometimes we need to go through books like this without commentary on the story. You just need to be able to look at it. Let's do issue 14. Yeah, this one is fantastic. This is the one where you really got to see how much of a hold Emma Frost has over Scott Summers. And look, she's in his head. And she's making herself look like Jean Grey. But boom, she's not in Cyclops' head. She's in Wolverine's head. Like, really? Like, this stuff here is this is like a type of horror, but this is what superheroes is all about. You know, like, they have to walk that line. As the audience and the readership of comics matured, it's okay to kind of get titles like this and you push the limits. The coloring is just beyond top notch. There we go. And he draws in a way that you think it's just like there's just so much detail. It's insane. Look, 6-panel grid. Not, yeah, we don't get a lot of those. Like, look at that expression. Absolutely elevated. No joke, aka Padders. Here's Cassandra. I'm not crazy. I was never crazy about Cassandra being a character. Like, never. See, and we were talking about this with Alpha Core, like how you put work in the in design. Like, you make things iconic purposely. You have to, if your artist does not do that, you have to let them go. Yeah, and here we go. So it's, look, it's Emma in his head. So this, like, perfectly set. Like, if you reading this month to month, like, you ended on this a month later, right? Like, we kind of pick it back up. And the gotcha is, like, really like a month in the working. Where the gotcha is, it's not Cyclops, it's Wolverine. Really sophisticated stuff here, guys. I don't know. I mean, I can look through these. It's been a little bit of time since, yeah, I spent time with Astonishing X-Men, but this really is like the last great X-Men arc. And I think we need a little bit more commentary on, like, if we called this the fall of X-Men, right? But Astonishing X-Men issue 4, this should be a $300 issue. It really should be.